Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Sunny,
And I'm T.
and this is Not Wrong, Nor Is It Right.
I had to get in there a little, like, at some point, because, yeah.
For better or worse, we bow to the light. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. We tryna live right. We partners for life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. Love conquers.
What's up, man? Welcome back, y'all. Listen,
Hey, guys.
just want to say thank you guys so much for the love and the support that you guys showed on
Yeah.
episode 1. Make sure y'all continue to like, subscribe,
Follow.
tell a friend. Yep,
Yeah,
tell a friend, share. IG Wrong Nor Right,
Yes.
YouTube Wrong Nor Right. This is Not Wrong Nor Is It Right. We appreciate everybody, man, and we appreciate the love and support. This is episode 2.
Episode 2.
And we're going to talk about whether we think we got married too young or,
Yes.
and just a couple questions that we frequently always get.
Yeah. We're
so
going to dive into that.
Let's start there.
Yeah. So the first question, coming off hot. Do you think you guys got married too young or at a young age?
Can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
You look amazing. I'm not sure if it's the hair, well, you know what? I always complain about why your hair is so expensive for you to get done, and then you get it done, and it's just like, wow.
He don't understand the economy that we live in. I keep telling my husband, like, to get braids is very expensive.
Yeah.
And as much as, I don't want to dish out that money, it's like, what do? I'm a gym girly.
Yeah.
I can't keep just doing my hair,
And I get that too because, back in the day,
day.
I used to walk to the barber shop and I could probably get like a shape up or a haircut for all of $20 now.
Every week.
Double that.
Yeah. So, but
good.
thank you.
No
I
problem.
appreciate you.
So, question: Do I think
we got married too young?
You always say I talk too much. You want to answer this
just
first?
A little bit? Yes. Well, I thank you. Thank you. So yeah, do I think we got married too young? I feel like I always contemplate in my head sometimes about that question, but keep it short, no. And to elaborate, we will be hitting our 8-year wedding anniversary this year. Just the wedding,
time is
8 years. But as you've seen from the first episode, we've known each other for a very long time.
Absolutely.
So, just even from the beginning, when you proposed, just that whole thing, that whole process of just getting that confirmation first from God and really understanding and knowing, like, okay, this is it. Like I said in the first episode, I'll speak on me, but you did say that you were the same. I've always been like determined to have the ring, the kids, the house, and I specifically wanted it in order. Because once I, got my relationship with Christ together, I really wanted to just do stuff the right way. Sure. And it genuinely just made me happy to make him happy. So when you came back, like I said, I had to take my moment of clarity because, like I said in the first episode, them exes spin the block. You're like, what do you want?
Yeah.
If you coming back, it need to be boom, boom, boom. This is what it is. And we're taking these steps to get there eventually. Yeah. But for us, it was a God thing. And so that was, I feel like, the main reason as to why we said yes so young to marriage. It was like, okay, like it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Self-control and all that other stuff is crazy when you're young and you're trying to live for Christ. So it's like, well, we gonna do it this way, whether we got the money, whether we got anything figured out, we just gonna say yes, and everything else gonna figure itself out. So,
that's good.
That's mine.
So the question, do I think
we got married too young
or just getting married young in general? Is a good idea.
I mean, you can answer both in your sense, but I think it's more catered to like us probably.
For us, no. Let me preface this by saying marriage is a grown up game,
It absolutely is.
You better be prepared, dog. And but for us, even from a natural standpoint before, because I knew you, the thing was, I loved you even before knowing Christ, right? And like I alluded to in the first episode, that was probably more just like a natural love. We do understand that it's levels to love, and without really knowing Christ, do we truly like know love?
Right.
But because God is love, anyway. But yeah, so I knew even back then, from a natural perspective, young, if I was always telling my friends when we broke up, if she come back, I'm gonna marry this girl. I just always had that type of love for you. I knew I fumbled the bag when I let you go, and I was just hoping and praying that Holmes was gonna fumble the bag too, and I
You
could
was
be
praying
right
on
there.
that downfall real
Absolutely,
bad.
and it worked. Prayer works. Prayer works.
You prayed on that.
But so like it's just ideal that when we were broken up, I found Christ, well, Christ found me, saved my life, and he was just going super more ham in your life, and getting you more connected with him, locked in with him. So when we came back, it was like, not only do I know that I want to marry this girl, but we both had got confirmations from Christ. And we both, because you had went through your praying and fasting stage, I went through my stage where I was saved, and it wasn't no longer just about Sonny. It was more so about fulfilling God's will, right? And so for me, it was like once all those boxes were checked, and then when I talked to your grandmother, God bless Miss Margaret, rest her soul, sweet, sweet lady. Once I got her blessing, and she straight up told me, like, I trust that my daughter will be happy with you. Like I can rest assured knowing that to me that was all I needed. Right? It didn't matter what nobody else said. It didn't matter what nobody else felt. I got though. I knew for a fact I wanted to do it. God said He wanted to do it, and then your caretaker said she was okay with me doing that. So for me, it was no question as to getting married young, getting married at that age. We got married at 23, 22.
Yeah, 22. I think 22.
And not 2023,
No,
at 22
at the age.
and 23
22
years
or 23.
old. You know, so and
we were young.
In my Jordan year, you know, everybody was in Jordan year, turning up and
for sure,
doing their thing, but we were getting married and locking in. However, like I said, it's a grown person's game, so I wouldn't even advise that to every person, especially this day and age, because we know it's a more fast-paced time of life, and if you don't have all those things checked out, then you can put yourself in a place of failure. And we know how God feel about divorce. We know how God feel about separation and things. Like I'm so
sound like you. Slow down.
I know,
like
right?
You tell me. Use your words.
But but yeah. So man, I don't think we got married too young at all.
Yeah, and you have made a point. Also, you definitely knew that when you spent the block, you knew how to come back.
Sure.
And you knew okay, she's not just going for anything. She's a changed person.
Yeah.
And you knew that I was going ham for Christ back then. Because I got baptized over, and you was just like, yeah, I can't just be like, oh, what's up?
Yeah,
you know,
you
were
approach. Oh, for sure.
Oh, I'm in Bible study. Yeah. I'm leaving prayer. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
So you definitely pursued me in that manner. So that was good. Again, just making sure whoever you're with at a young age, if you are in that position, that you're equally yoked is really, really important.
Sure.
Like you said, it's a grown, I was going to say it wrong. A grown person's.
You sure you wasn't about to put one of your...
No, I wasn't going to put one of my words.
Hey, yo, shout out to Percolate and everybody out there percolating from the first episode.
Goodness.
If you don't know what Percolate means, if you don't know what Percolate we talking about, y'all ain't watched the first episode, so y'all make sure y'all go back and watch the Percolate is funny. It's time for the Percolate.
I'm glad that you all got your last
what's
out of
next
that.
word?
I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Okay, then what's the next
You
question?
gotta keep watching. All right. So I believe the next question has something to do with us and the kids. So do we think that we had kids too early on? And do we think that we should have waited, I guess, a little bit later on after marriage? Because if people don't know, we got married July 2016.
Mm.
I was pregnant November.
I ain't wasting no time.
Had my son in June.
Wasting no time, got right to it. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
we think that we had them kids too soon, or do we think that we had them later?
So like I know I always get it. I always got to preface things. I'm not gonna preface, but I will say this:
Yeah.
the thing is, I don't necessarily think that we had too early. However, I will say it was a huge dynamic shift in our marriage because of the fact that we were so used to just being spontaneous. Like, hey, boo, let's go to Ocean City this weekend, or Mass and nothing, or
Right
let's go out
out.
like let's do something. So, and that was the rhythm of our relationship. And then here comes a baby.
Yeah.
And now, you know,
The rhythm kind of stops.
the rhythm
It slows down.
Absolutely. But
It slows down.
So I feel like there's two ways you could go about having children, and like when you're married, right? It's one is
early on.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, I think it's
in general. Okay.
It's either so. I think one approach is wait for you to be established. So you might take 10 to 12 years or 8 to 10 years. Wait till you know what I mean, more established with your careers. More, and it's obviously if you got married young in your 20s like myself, like us.
Yeah.
You wait till you get more established. Wait till your careers are more established. Your finances are together. You done enjoyed your marriage, right? And then maybe in your 30, 35, 36, you start having children, planning them that way. But you'll be a little bit older, you know, raising children. Or the other side of the token is you start like how we did it, and you know, by the time we get to our 35s, 40s, True and Trez, they'll be older enough to be kind of a little more independent. We can get back to enjoying our lives and you know having having that spontaneous rhythm again. So for me, I do enjoy the fact that it's tough now because we're raising the babies and we're young
still
in our
establishing
primes,
everything,
and
right.
we have to raise children while establishing life. But I do think that it worked for us,
right.
you know. And the thing is, when it comes down to these questions, it's not like plug and play. It's not one shoe fits all. Like
it's hard.
Am I boring you?
No, sorry.
No, anyway. It is. We recording pretty late tonight.
We be having to wait for these kids to go to sleep. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it's not one shoe fits all. One size fits all. It's whatever really works for you. So whatever we saying might not necessarily work for everybody else.
Yeah.
We could only just speak for what works for us.
Yeah, legit.
But how about you?
That's real. So yeah, we basically talk on our experiences. So, in hopes that it could inspire you to maybe want to take a few things out of whatever we say, and use it for your own good. Now, I do feel like that I wish we may have waited a few more months after marriage, or maybe a year or two. But I do like having the idea of having the kids young.
Sure.
Either way, it's like not a lose-lose, because I don't want to reference my children as a lose. Like, that's hard.
Wow.
That's harsh. But either way, it's gonna be give or take.
Just
like,
when I was about to give you the Mom of the Year award, you said it was a loss.
It's never a loss. I'm trying to find the words.
Them kids be an L.
I'm trying to find the words. So whether you do it now or later, it's gonna have pros and cons to the dynamic. Sure. So obviously for us, like you already said, we were so used to just up and going, the spontaneity, the dates here, dates there. I do just wish that after we got married, we got used to being married, kind of got used to being a wife, being a husband, fulfilling that role, really understanding the title of what I'm taking on.
That's good.
When you take on too many titles so early on, sometimes it can be overwhelming. So I was a wife and a mom in a year time span.
Wow.
So it was like a lot. And I don't think it really hit me, honestly, until lately. I'm like, wow, I did take on all of that within a year or two. And so,
wow.
Trying to learn how to be both.
No, that's
young and that fast. It was a lot, and obviously years go on, and you continue to learn. It's never an ending thing. Like you always learning and, developing. But I do wish we, just had a little bit more time. But I feel like young is cool. I'm able to keep up with them. I'm able to run up and down the stairs and, not be out of breath too much.
Plus, you be in that gym too. They keep you,
yeah, I'm in the gym.
keep us young,
But yeah, if we had
wait,
them later, I will probably just be like, okay.
Can I just? Because that just hit me. The fact that, like, hold on. Not because we didn't grow up in places that really modeled marriages, right? So we didn't. It's not like we was able to look at mom and dad or whatever and say,
which is
okay,
another
this
episode.
Is so yeah, another episode for sure. But it's like it just hit me that when you said you were learning how to become a wife, learning how to be a wife, and a mom making that adjustment all in the same year. So
it's a lot.
That's a lot. That's interesting. But man,
and it's not like I had 5 years of being married.
Right.
And I kind of got the rhythm of that. Now let's throw in.
And honestly, when you think about it, we might not even know our identity anymore because of our marriage identity. Because our whole marriage, we had kids. So
yeah. So that's why I'm excited. Like after they become more independent, that's just another chapter in our book to open up and explore and get back to like what we want to do. Like I know it's like small hobbies that I feel like I always wanted to do, like play tennis and do this and that. So like I said, either way how you look at it, it's either you get your fun out now while you're young, while you're a newlywed, get it out, wait later, or whenever is right for you. But in regards to us, I think the way that it's going, I don't regret it. I love it. It has had its ups and downs, but God has kept us.
I agree. That's good.
And He's provided.
That's good.
So it's been a road, but God is good.
And it's just amazing to see how people, especially first time parents, you see it all the time, and they just automatically adjust to having children. And same thing with, I guess, with us being married for us. And I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but it was somewhat some pressure with us because our wedding was my first wedding. Like, so it wasn't really a whole lot of people in our family that we know that, to be going to marriages to look after and things like that. Yeah. And so it was like we are legit learning all these things on the fly, and I think that with obviously with God in our circle, that's the only thing that kept us in that got us this far, because that pressure of family members, close friends, brothers, sisters looking up to us now because we are in a place of unity, in a place of holy matrimony, and now it's almost like you got all the expectations of we 22, 23 years old with the expectations, of being married.
Yeah, that's good.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Wow.
All I can honestly say is God.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Him, I think, things could have been different.
And, dog.
To say the least.
Can we share the fact that, okay, even in the midst of us being young, being married, bruh, we was broke.
Oh, broke is a joke.
Dog.
Listen, I was a fresh grad out of college.
I apologize to her all the time. Like, I wasn't able to give her the wedding that, dog. At the time, man, we was trying to make things work.
We were so young.
And being so young, like we said, not being established.
Yeah.
Man, it was just like
we did the best we could.
We was doing what we needed to do, and God kept us, and now we're in a place where it's like a lot of breathing room. A lot, seeing the fruits of our labor just and that's the thing about it. By not ignoring his yes because everything didn't fit, like it wasn't fitting for the lifestyle. Yeah. We just trusted him. Yeah. And he took care of us. Yeah. That's a word. But
that is a word.
We just trusted him. And because like we said, we didn't have the house.
We didn't have it figured out.
We didn't have the money.
Yeah.
We didn't. You coming out of school, you were still in school
when you proposed.
When you said you said I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy. And so, the biggest advice, especially, man, believers. If God gave you the yes, you need to trust that yes. Period.
Yeah.
And move accordingly.
Yeah.
And He will order your footsteps. He will be. It's always good to have a third wheel in your relationship when that third wheel is God.
Yeah.
You understand? You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm about to go write a song. I'm feeling creative.
Listen, you about to preach a whole sermon now. I'm inspired too.
Oh, by the way, it's Easter weekend.
Yes, Resurrection weekend.
He is risen.
He's risen, y'all.
He is risen. So, shout out to God, man.
Yes, thank you for being that sacrifice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So, let's see. Another question. Some key marriage advice for young couples or those that are married and young.
Got you.
We can also touch on the singles, young and married, some key marriage advice. Sure.
Yeah.
You do it on a question where I'm like not ready. I think I was ready for those other two, but I'm a little ready. We don't
pre like we try to come off the hot as
we
much
really,
as possible.
So we talk about these a little,
like that,
but we try not to do a whole script and we're looking at like a board. No, we really just having a conversation and just letting, the authenticity.
So what's some we were dropping jewels already, but what's some like practical advice?
I always try not to give the practical like advice that a lot of people already hear. Okay. So young and married or young and pursuing marriage, I got to speak to one. I can't do both.
So go ahead.
So should we do young and married?
Yeah, let's start with young and married.
Young and married.
We can go to talk about the singles.
Yeah. Young and already married, forgive always.
Wow.
Forgive always. Yeah. That's a big one. And I'll collaborate later. Forgive. Communicate. I know that's like a cliche answer, but it really does matter.
Sure.
You don't know until you're in it what that means. Like for real.
Communication can be a whole episode in itself.
Yeah, it definitely can be. And I'll just do 3 like quick tips. And then the last one for me, I would say like don't let yourself go / always date /
don't be walking around the house with them bloomers. Like, let's talk about them bloomers. Because you be you don't be having them
He's a blowing me.
The bloomers. Oh, I know I ain't getting none on that night. Like when the bloomers come out, all right, nigga, it's time to go to bed. Right after this shower with the bloomers.
Comfort.
Right, we gone.
It's comfort.
Z's.
It's comforting.
Sleep.
He's blowing me. It's
next
comforting.
Business day.
Don't let yourself go /
Put the bloomers in there.
Don't let yourself go / always date / always keep that fire.
Yeah.
Always keep that fire going. And so like just to elaborate just a little bit, in the first one, forgiving, constantly forgiving always. As Christians, Christ forgives us so much. He forgives us sometimes without us even asking.
Wow.
Because the grace and mercy is always there.
Wow.
You can do something today. Don't even say, forgive me, Lord, tomorrow. And you wake up. Like, that's his grace and mercy. And so...
Wow. That's good, T.
He forgives us. That's just a prime example. So it's like, as much as you get on my nerves and just life's and things happen and you make mistakes, forgive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
Absolutely.
And it's hard work, but forgiveness is what definitely will help. Well, it has helped just us grow. We're literally mirroring examples of Christ. And so me forgiving you, you forgiving me, it just shows like the true love. And I could go on and on about that. But we'll stop there. And then communication, again, I could go on and on, but to keep it short and simple, you have to communicate. And sometimes that looks like overly communicating something. Your spouse cannot read your mind. He can't read my mind. I can't read his. I'm still working on this. So pray for me.
Absolutely.
Because men, my husband, let me bring it back, because I ain't trying to get attacked in the comments by y'all. My husband, you know, sometimes I have to repeat 1,001 times. And so what I'm learning is it's okay to repeat that 1,000 times.
I just like your voice. Like, so when you keep talking and talking, it's like music to my ears.
So if you have to keep reminding your husband over and over, it's okay. I get it. It's frustrating, but they aren't mind readers, and they already have a lot on their plate.
Wow.
And so, like I said, I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect, but practically going throughout my days, I understand, like, okay, and I have to talk to myself and the Holy Spirit.
Communicate with yourself.
I have to say, T,
sheesh.
He didn't take out the trash. That's okay. But guess what he did do? He did come in and he did take the kid and, you know, play the game or whatever. He did something. He washed his dish that he, you know, used, whatever. You know, so
come on, yeah. Like,
we aren't mind readers. You have to communicate, and sometimes you have to over communicate. You have to wear your heart on your sleeve. Yeah, the trash is literally at the door.
Jeez.
I ain't gonna let him forget it today. Again, so overly communicate, it's okay.
Working on it.
Talk. You have to talk. May not be comfortable, but you have to do it. Again, that can be so like much longer and elaborate, but I'll just stop there. And then the last one, yes, keep it fresh, baby, because you're with this person a lot. You know, you have to keep it fresh. Don't let yourself go. You know, you get married and sometimes you get comfortable and then you're like, well, that's it. We married for life.
Yep.
You got to love me in the skin I am. You know, you got to love me whether, you know, I gained 50 pounds, 80 pounds, 100 pounds. That is true. But there's also there's also a matter of loving yourself and also making sure that you just don't let yourself go, whether that, you know, looks like you swapping out them, you know, cute cheeksters for, you know, the dun-dun-duns. I mean, we have to stay comfortable, but, you know, just make sure you keep the spice there.
Yeah, sure.
Keep that fire lit.
Stay saved, secure,
secure, and sexy.
Ooh, that was on the top. We working.
That was off the down.
Okay, what's some advice to give some young married couples? You just kind of gave.
I gave like the cliche, not the cliche, but
it was beautiful. It was brilliant. That was some much needed advice. I think to add on to that, I think the village has to be there, right?
Okay.
Meaning, what I mean by village is I feel like you should have people that you communicate with or that you are in just camaraderie with on your level, also above you. And then after you get a couple years under your belt, it's going to be some people that you're going to be counseling underneath you, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So on your level, your friends, your circle, you want to make sure you got people that you are in good communication with and good spirits with, that y'all on the same rhythm as well. You know, keep that jealousy out your circle, keep that envy, because when things are going well and you got people that it might not be going well in their circle, are they still going to be rooting for you and yours, right? Are they still going to be giving you that good advice? Are they still going to be giving you that good counsel? Are they still going to be breaking down stories or whatever? And on top of that, when things get tough, like you said, how they do get tough, I know I could go to certain dogs and just be like, bruh, this is what we going on. And guess what? They're married too. They can kind of give me that advice that, man, I was going through the same thing.
Yeah, as long as they're married.
And, yep. And they can kind of give you that advice. And I won't lie. At one point, I had a single friend who, from an outside perspective, was still able to sharpen me up from things where it was like, okay, you might not necessarily be married, but I'm logical, right? Or I'm objective.
Yeah.
Like I can be like, bro, now you might have been wrong in this area. She probably didn't take it in that way. So having that same level, like your friends, that them people in your corner, that's really rooting for you matters, right? And if you don't, and if everybody is against what you're trying to do, you probably got to get new friends, whether it's
for sure.
I don't know, through your church or whatever. I don't know. Most of my dogs is in my neighborhood that I grew up with, and they ignorant.
Shout out to y'all.
But dog, it's love, and but the second thing, the people, the couples above you. I could always think about the elders, right? And people that's praying for us on our behalf, but we're not even necessarily thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
Going to the throne and just we can go to them and have dinner and get that wisdom.
Super grateful for them.
They've been married 25, 30 plus years and can kind of just give you the kind of wisdom and counsel that you wouldn't necessarily get from on your level, right? Because they done been through much more, seen much more, and believe that God just gave them that kind of wisdom to just pour into, right?
Yeah.
They can invest in that such manner.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. One more piece of advice. You got to be willing to adjust, right? Knowing that this person that I'm marrying right now, in the next past 2 to 3 years, he can be changing. She can be changing.
That's a good one.
And sometimes we change faster than
a good one.
than others, or it might take a little bit longer time. But knowing that you plan on doing this thing for the rest of your life, and we change. That's that spanked me knowing that like the same person that I met when you were 12 is not necessarily the same person that's sitting beside me right now. And so if I still go based off of who you were when you were 12, 13, whatever, then now it's going to feel like I don't even know you, and so
your expectations
make sure
are
that
crushed.
make sure you're willing to be adjustable and flexible inside of your relationship for that. So
that was really
advice.
good.
Yeah.
I think what you said in regards to having that community, that's super important, because I know when we first got married, we didn't have a whole lot of friends like that were young and married. So we prayed hard for that.
Sure.
That God would really just send, people our age that was married that could really just help us during our time and to kick it, honestly, because to a certain extent, you can get advice from your single friends, but sometimes you do want to lock in with somebody who has that experience, who's gone through just different scenarios, different situations in marriage, and like, how did you handle it? So
that's good.
Yeah.
So, cause I definitely got my two groups of friends who we all are aware of each other and know of each other, but I got my married people. That's more so in the church that I'm grounded with, and Lord knows I can't forsake my photo block homies. Man, that group is just so special, man. Ignorant, bro. And I hope to have some of them on here.
Oh gosh,
one day, soon. But it's gonna be funny. Yeah, it's gonna be funny. Speaking of single, if you are because here's the thing, we're married, but we try not to be so
boxed in
so that we can't
give advice to like single
and still understand somebody who may be single trying to get to this place. In this, with this day and age, I can understand that it's probably much more difficult than what it was back when we were, single and things like that. But okay, with single friends, because I know you do have single friends as well. What's some advice that you would give somebody who is single? Who, man, I don't know where to find them. I don't know what's going on. Is it me? Is it them?
Right.
What's some advice you would give to a female that's single, looking want to take that next step? And maybe just struggling or whatever.
Well, I always feel like your husband or your man will find you. And it could literally just be you anywhere. Like whoever's meant for you is going to find you. Like we don't have to pursue. And I think this day and age, it really sucks because there's this big demeanor of I'm independent. I don't, it's just a lot of dominant women that's
Sure.
like taking charge. And it's like, I don't need a man, or the ones that are wanting men. It's like, oh, let me go find him. Let me go here. I mean, and that's cool to put yourself in places to be sought after. Because, I mean, where else, like, are you going to find your husband? Yeah. But if you just focus on you,
sure,
that's the number one thing. Really just focus on yourself. And I feel like when you really lock in with yourself and God and just spend time knowing who you are as a woman, you will be sought after. For your genuine spirit, for your authenticity, like all of that. So obviously being in places, in social settings, everything is so digital now. So it also kind of sucks to just not be able to genuinely be somewhere where it's not turned up and it's not like, well, this is boring. So you want to, try to find that mix. But again, just really just focusing on yourself and, and try to put yourself out there a little bit, but not all the way.
I'm still just waiting for one of your percolated words to come out.
Gosh, and I've been trying so hard not to make up a word. So what's your advice for the single men?
For the dogs? It's interesting because I feel like really it's about to sound bad, but I feel like because I feel like the quality of men is trash nowadays. But however, I feel like
the whole generation.
But I feel like women also played a role in why men are trash these days. But and that's not to say, I'm not even saying from a perspective of
everything is so sexualized.
Right. So that's my point.
It's so annoying.
So the point is, it's like for a man, right? What we once had to work so hard for,
you can just get it at a click of a button.
Right. And so it's
like on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
On MySpace.
So I think the advice will be, okay, if you are somebody who is grounded, understand the responsibility and the power that do lie in your hands. The fact that so here's the thing. With power comes responsibility, right? And we this might be a little controversial, but we possess a lot of the power because, like you said, a woman will put herself in a place to be sought after. However, it still takes us to approach that woman and to not only do that, but to get on that knee and make that and change that woman's last name. Yeah. So that comes with a lot of power. And it comes with a lot of responsibility as well, because God told us we have to love our bride like the church, like he loved the church. And so it's like you can't take that power that God gave you and just abuse it or not do nothing with it. And so that's what my dogs, we know we kind of have that power, but because everything is so fast paced, because like you said, women are becoming a little bit more aggressive as well. It's almost like
I don't have to work.
I don't have to work.
I don't have to work for it.
Yeah. And so when I mean, and let me just go back and kind of clean that. When I say I think the quality of men is trash, I'm not necessarily saying it from a perspective of being perfect or being. I just think that we already naturally can just be trash if we want to.
Yeah, dogs.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And now it's like, this day and age, it's a perfect time to be a dog. You know what I mean? And
it's almost like glorified.
Yep. But if you are somebody, like I said, if you are somebody who's a believer, I would expect that that you come with expectations.
Absolutely.
And you have to do right by God's daughters. Because I would tell you, He does not. God recently showed me in my relationship, dog.
He don't play about us.
Nah,
Listen,
he ain't playing about them daughters.
He don't play with his daughters.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And we can touch on that.
But if you're on the other side as a man and you feel like, dog, I want to pursue somebody. I want to change her last name. However, she on the gram showing everybody my, you know what I mean? The biggest advice that I would tell on both sides of that coin, stay even in the midst of your singleness. Do not let this world change who you are morally, physically, because you always want to just make sure that you're prepared so that way when God does give you the yes for this thing, you don't got to try to go back in the closet and make all these adjustments. To try to change yourself because you already stayed ready. You was always prepared. And that's really something I admire about you. When I broke your heart, when the other guy broke your heart, you always still remained who you were. Even in your singleness, it's like, I'm going to keep these morals. I'm going to keep these rules and these things that I'm just not willing to give up, you know? So, and be you, stay in that and trust that God is going to give you your person.
Yeah, don't let this world change you.
Sure. That's that. Do you want to pull out the card?
Sure.
Listen, guys, so we got this
red box. I call it the red box.
The red box.
But it's the couples edition.
It's so good.
You can find it at your local Target.
It's called We're Not Really Strangers. And we
really
taught ourselves every so often on the episodes. We love to read
We'll do a card
question
for you guys.
from over here.
Random.
And random card number 1. This is a wild card. It says, finish this sentence. I'm sorry for blank.
And that's so funny because I said earlier
Talk about
today,
apologizing and being forgiven and
always
things like
forgive.
that. I'm
always
sorry
forgive.
for blank.
Okay,
Do you need a second?
I know, right? Okay.
Yeah, I know women don't apologize, y'all. Women be like,
crazy.
Well, I said I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm always apologizing first. He takes all day to apologize. He has to put me on Law and Order, and then I get my apology. So today I'm getting my
case.
Present your case
for sure.
But yeah. Let's see. I apologize for. Okay, you can go first. Okay.
Prime example. I got it though.
I feel like I'm gonna stumble over my words.
It's okay. Just make up a new word. We love you for this. We love you for this.
Not word. I feel like I'm gonna stumble over a few words.
Okay.
Like trying to put it together so you can go.
Oh, it's all good. Well, let me look you in your eyes, girl. It's like now, but look, I'm sorry for.
I'm so sorry.
I keep boring her, y'all.
No, I'm sorry. It's like past my bedtime.
Yeah, it is really late.
Look at
it. I'm sorry for sometimes listening to respond rather than actually listening just to hear what you're trying to say. Like you said, sometimes we can get so caught up in I need to respond to what she's saying or I got to defend myself when really it's like love conquers. It's not about being wrong or right. So I don't even have to if I made you feel some kind of way, if I can miss it by trying to respond rather than just really just hearing how you feel. So I'm sorry. I know sometimes I do have a tendency to be listening or what you just say and respond right then and there because I'm listening to respond rather than actually hearing your heart. And so I genuinely apologize for that.
That's good, babe. I accept your apology.
I'm getting some tonight.
Anyways, so I apologize for, I would say, not being sensitive to just the many roles that you have to like endure or take on. Just like as a man, I don't know, but I know just a little because you tell me, but there's like a lot on your shoulders and just knowing like all that you have to do to keep our family like good. You won't always communicate that with me. Like you'll fight it in silence sometimes. And sometimes, you'll come home and it's just like, oh, I'm quick to be like, hey babe, cause I'm home alone, home bored. And I want to come in, you come in and I'm like, talk to me. How was your day? And da-da-da-da. And sometimes you do like, oh, T, I just need a minute. And I'm like upset. Or I'm like, why is he not doing this as soon as he come in? So I do apologize for the times where like, you know, I may overload you and then catch an attitude instead of really just taking a step back to say, hold on.
Wow.
Because men have a lot on their shoulders. They don't communicate about. So I apologize if I ever like just put my feelings above yours.
And listen, I know this is a real vulnerable moment for you, and this is why, you know, I'm always visualizing. And you didn't stop messing with that hair until we got to that moment. I know my wife. Like, I know my wife. And so I know that was a true, sincere moment because I was like, wow, you know. But I appreciate that.
Why do you know me so good? I don't like that. We done.
Listen, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. It's not wrong, nor is it right. We out.
Peace.
For better or worse, we bow to the light, not wrong.